All right, yo, Dan, thank you for the galaxy, dude. Jesus. All right, so first things first, let's cover the ETFs right now as we come to the end of the week, right? We're looking at a weekly candle close on uh the Qs, and this is sitting right here, right? And so the trajectory is obviously looking down a little bit. The wick from previously or previous price action still in play, but it does strike me as a lower time frame setup where next week we could be looking at a pullback down, and it did wick out down and make a new low, but it might wick up and retest the top at 573.97 before it does that. But that is still going to help this thing maintain its uptrend, right? So that being said, going into next week, as far as taking a trade here, the signals, I think yes, there is potential for continuation of the downside, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tuesday we saw a quick retest to stop people out before we continue moving down.
It is a monthly candle too on the Qs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we do have a monthly candle. That's just closing. I mean, really can't pull too much information out of that other than 540 would be a retest wick underneath us, which again lines up with this. So if you're looking short, look and you're looking out long, there's levels like 552, but we're at the highs. So if you decide that this lower time frame setup is egging you into a new high, the weekly candle's not the greatest setup, and there is a mutual rejection at the neckline, if you will, right? So my eyes are down, but I think if you if you're also looking to the downside, we do have some historical data that can play into um, September's historically not the greatest month. We're running up into new highs. Again, we take that with a literal half a grain of salt, but next week we also have some data starting out Tuesday. ISM manufacturing jolts on Wednesday. ADP non-farm employment change and unemployment claims on Thursday, and average hourly earnings, non-farm employment rate, and unemployment rate on Friday. So lots of big data next week. Haven't looked at the earnings calendar. We'll take a look at that. I think I looked at it last week. Is Potter the best looking trader? Get the fuck out of here, dude. Negative. Um, so you've got a 4 hour channel lower high. Again, that's playing into some of that bias, but we do know, and if you're hedging and you are looking down, somehow convinced you to do that, um, you should look at what the worst case scenario would be, and I think that lines up here, folks. So if you were looking down, the worst case scenario is you rip up to the highs or even past those highs, 585. So use that information wisely, because I think going into this environment, would I swing it into Tuesday? Maybe, but I think having maybe even just a little bit more time could be useful. All right. Anyway, that being said, Spy, that's weird. Spy did end up pulling back into its structure. So one of the things that we can agree on is that it is underneath where sellers control the price. However, it did pull back into that 50% mark or old one. Little bit of structure down here. That's what we bounced off of. There's empty space up above you from how you fell. So again, that same potential retest of the area you broke down in is possible. Spy does favor the downside as well, or excuse me, yeah, you could say Spy does favor the downside as far as setup is concerned. Empty space is down, but again, this is an area that can be reversed, which it just sucks because again, it would be 24-hour time frame. The candle is definitely red and definitely underneath. So if you're taking that leap of faith, you have no real um, structure. So adding expiration or having a good expiration obviously would be pretty useful. But that's Spy, and this is one of the first pullbacks that we've seen similar to the other ones right here. You get a candle close under that red candle, and we see continuation to the downside. So my target would be 638 down. Obviously, with the empty space being filled back up at 647, you got all-time highs up above you. So is Nvidia a good buy today? I mean, I'm just saying this. I wouldn't. I personally am not interested in buying something like that. Not even a little bit. Uh, yeah, I mean, Manny likes Nvidia, but I that's not even on my radar. Not at the highs. I don't buy things at the highs. I buy them at the lows. You buy when there's blood in the streets.
That's just the way it goes.
Yep. All right, let's see here. What is that? Okay. Yeah, exactly. All right. So going into this next week, couple of things, just recapping from today, really. Uh, I do, and we did, ended up grabbing Marvel for earnings. Um, I am currently holding a few of these puts. They're well in the money. They're about 1,000% up. But this does look like something. The only reason that I'm addressing this is that I know that there's some people with longer expirations for next week that have the downside that message me. I think you can target that 59.39 low. Is that something I'm going to add to? I just can't. I just can't do it. It's not right. Anyway, emotionally in cash, that's a great place to be, I think, going into this weekend. Um, I'm trying to honestly, I'm cleaning up shop right now as we speak as well. Just trying to sell some of these like runners that I have expiration, anything that I'm just not focused on. I still have a Neo contract floating around there. So, what did, yeah, oops. Um, yeah, I think it's going to be, I think that's a safe bet. Anyway, well, thanks for the astronaut too, dude. Thank you. All right, snow. Um, this one again this week was really a solid setup, but I did want to bring to everybody's attention, if you are still watching snow with me, that this weekly candle close is closing solid up against resistance, or you could even say outside of it. So we could be looking at snow possibly going and moving next week into this larger structure up above. All right. But other than that, we also took Baba on accident. Well, it's because of Jorge. But it actually turned out being amazing. I thought, wow, I'm gonna end up making up the loss, and then it was wow. Now I'm actually making money, and towards the 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, uh, actually pulling a bag out of that one. So this one definitely with its chip news, I just wanted to throw it out there that there is a 153 target directly up above you. So if this can muster a breakthrough this weekly punchback, which it certainly looks pretty good. Where did I enter? I bought it at the end of the day, guys. All right. I think that's good. Yeah, I think that's good. All right. Go ahead if you guys are that's funny. Um if you have anything you want me to take a look at, go ahead and drop that now, please. And we'll go ahead and let me know which way. All right. Don't just drop what are you looking at? You can drop your chart, whatever. Um but yeah, go ahead and drop that request, and we'll see if we can't find anything before the end of the week. And I'm going to try to move really quickly through these so we can get everybody locked in here. All right, so Nvidia down. I'm going to say the same thing that I said this morning, guys. I apologize, but again, does this candle solidify that we're going to reverse? No. Does it head in the right direction after a retest off of the top multiple times? Yes. So the favor, yes. Downside. So if you're taking it, again, I can't hate on the entry, but I can say that you don't have confirmation. So it is 171.87 that needs to be broken. You have really good price targets to the downside, such as this structure over here. I would expect for that 159, 160. That 160 area is where that breaks. Can you withdraw money from trading? Yeah. Yeah, of course. Connected to if you can put money in, you can pull money out. All right. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah. So anyway, that one we just need to see that break. XIFR. Whoops, what are my fingers doing here? XIFR. Okay, so there's no arguments with the fact that yes, you do, and you're on the weekly. I don't know when I charted this one, but I did say, if I recall correctly, I did say that box wise, that's a great place to start, and you did in fact candle close outside of it. You're moving above that candle high there, and now you're up against that candle close right here, and you're closing weekly strong. That is the first green candle to your left, and so the only thing that can stand in your way is 1081. That's all I see. That channel then I believe expands, and that would likely look something like that. But yeah, I mean, if you're already in that one, it's not definitely something that I think looking back, I said this before, I'm just not a fan of how it fills up its empty space. That's just looking at the behavior of that stock and deciding I don't like that behavior. Okay, so SoFi 24-hour weekly. Okay, so weekly's closing green, showing a bounce off the structure underneath you. Monthly's still green. 24-hour time frame. So here's the long and short of this, and I think this is pretty simple. You need to get above that same previous resistance that you basically held you down before, and it looks like that's going to be 1336. Now, as far as an entry is concerned, this isn't a terrible one. You are and did just punch back, so yeah, you are. It's a decent candle close on the 4-hour. It's a little bit weaker here with the wick right there at 13, which is the first green candle to your left there. So really just getting above 13, I think, gets you going in the right direction. So AO down for earnings next week. Okay, so this is another one of those setups, folks, that I just off of instinct, and before I say anything else, hold on, let's see. So not good, not good, not great, not great, not great, pretty good, not good, not good, good, not good, not good too. Also not good. Uh Very bad. Good. Okay, so there's almost like a cycle of this shit. So how long have we had shitty earnings? Let's see. Not great. Not great. Bullshit. I think based on the tension that I see in front of me, I can feel that this thing does want to move. I mean, that I think alone, yes, there is a move here. And again, you'd be looking for something that's along the lines of some of the previous moves. Looking back, we see a move from 12 all the way up to 14. So looking at this one, I'm going to focus on the weekly. The empty spaces to the upside, 1510 would be your target. 1510 would be your target to the upside. If you look at the weekly time frame, you are well above the weekly box or the weekly candle close, and you're resting on top of it. So while on the 24-hour it looks a little deceptive, on the weekly it actually doesn't look too bad. I actually don't hate that setup at all. So yeah, I think 1528 would be your target to the upside. In fact, I find it really, really. Hold on. You see that? You see what happens when you leave that? You see what happens when you leave that? See what happens when you leave that? Damn.
Are we about to
People,
leave it?
I think we might leave it. That looks pretty good. Boom, bada bing. Stab me with a chicken wing. I'm sorry. I don't know. I just made that up. Things go through my head sometimes. It's not my fault. Earnings is next week, though, for sure. I said 15. Those are decent. Weird. Got a little $5 spread there. Interesting. All right. Damn, where's my bucket? Oh, mistake. Oh man. Now my nose is running. It's my turn. All right. Let's see here. Can I look at A with this weekly candle close? I mean, you got more balls than I do. I'll say that much. Allegiant is closing green up against it. I can't argue with that. right? It does have empty space in front of you to the green candles here at 133.47. That would be my play. That is the weekly play. The 24-hour candle is holding up above. You are still, yeah. So it wasn't really the strongest, and you're sitting underneath 126.59. So yeah, it doesn't look bad. Oh, my bet will be here this Wednesday, dude. You know what? I'm taking Wednesday off too. I'm taking Wednesday off. I ain't getting out of bed. You know what? Never mind. I'll just use my laptop. You know what? You want to know if something's, dude? I thought to myself, oh, dude, I should get a laptop because if I ever leave the house and I just want to, chart and trade or whatever. Chart. I've used it 3 times.
So now you charge a bubble bath.
No, maybe I should though. Wait, what?
And we're live.
Yeah. October. I got a little bit. Did I skip item? Oh, you know what? I definitely did, dude. The fuck? I definitely did skip IWM. Holy shit! And why does that look one better? It looks way better than everything else. Thanks for bringing that up, dude. Give you $1.
Damn, just $1.
I want my
Um,
$2.
all right, fine, but there's going to be a 50% tax on it.
Oh, the laptop.
All right. So, I mean, I can't. I don't want to short that one all the way down. I see 228.50, man. 229. That might be my only speculation on ETFs. Is IWM because I feel like I could slap the piss out of that thing. Say 6 days out. Oh, that's money, dude. 6 days out on IWM is, and then what? 228s or 21 cents. Oh, nope. I don't want to buy 100. Yeah, just because of resistance. Worst case scenario is this thing goes and hits 239.50 next week, which is why I'm putting a little bit of an expiration behind these. So, all right, cool. We got the message. That is pure speculation. Okay. Did you say your Fent is coming in on Wednesday? No, I did not say. Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna be. That's why I'm not coming into work. Could be slumped.
Now it makes sense.
Basically, all right. UNH. Uh. Any, mini, miny, mo. I mean, dude. What? I mean, yeah. There's a lot going through my head right now. You built a box at cost basis, or really the median of that range. You never really came down and touched the floor, which, whatever. That being said, is this the worst candle close that you can see? No. You are closing decently. You did bounce off the floor. You are, let's see, above 308.50, which is where you're right at it. So I would be aiming, I'm going to aim right here. That'd be 320.50, right? Empty space. And then that little nodule right there will be what sets you free. Cool to see it while I'm in the car line. You picking up your kids? Hell yeah. All right. Snap up and away. Fuck. You know what? As much as I want to hate that thing, when does it have earnings? When does it have earnings?
Listen, I remember mentioning it forever ago, and you're like, "This is awful."
You know what? I'm so glad I said that because
It's awful.
it's awful. That's so I would say like now we could look at it. You look at the 24-hour candle and it failed the punchback, right? That's not good. But we can rest assured that if a candle closes directly up against that 733, I would look into the short float too. I mean, if this is a heavily shorted stock too, sitting on the floor with empty space up above it, I mean, set an alert on it. You know, I know Snapchat's going to be cheap. There's no reason not to try to take a position on that one, at least going up into the 790s. But that's interesting. That is interesting. I wouldn't say that right now is confirming it. I mean, with that big ass red candle there, you could just as easily push down because how long do you need to sit at a floor before you bounce? You've gone through your waves. So, but I do say, I do think this one will make for a great trade. Set an alert, take it when it breaks. All right, so we've got Tesla still has space down. Can you look at it, pretty please? Okay. Sure. Is that who the fuck is that? Did you take the fat version of me and then put Wendy's hair on it? I don't like that.
I don't see the difference.
All right. Someone make me a fat Astro. The fuck,
On
man.
it.
I need a fat Astro.
I need a fat Astro.
And then make sure there's a bunch of Cadillac converters in the back. All right. Yes, Tesla does have empty space to the downside. Let's go and see from structure.
No, Monica.
Oh my god. Will you mute your mic though? I can hear myself. And I don't like hearing me. I don't know how you guys deal with that shit. All right, so you are at the 50% mark of that empty space. This is one of the only places, if the only place, that you can see a bounce. Not much of a bounce right now. So you could see a quick pop and fill up the rest of that space. But right now the target to the downside is the top of the box at 325.20 and 322. Now that could very much get you down to that bottom channel, which would be around 3, which basically would be here. And so I think that also has a lot to do with whether the market turns over. What was that? All right, Tesla.
Can you guys
After
quit
what's up?
raising the ask on IWM, the 228s?
Yeah, they definitely did. I'm watching that happen too. I was gonna say anything. Can you guys stop, please?
I got my 21.
Yeah.
You guys, stop it.
All right. Okay, really. Wait, hold on a second. Is that? Yeah. Okay, that's good. By the way, if you guys are on TikTok or Discord, after the bell rings, I'll hop off of TikTok or off of Discord. I'm gonna hold a short Q&A, answer some questions. There's been a lot of new people in the Discord as well, so take that opportunity. And just on TikTok too. I looked at it today and I was at 90.8 thousand followers, and now I'm at 91.2. So yeah, just after the bell. So all right, that's Tesla. Let's see, what else do we got here? We've got Oscar Mayer puts, maybe $16 puts. I like it. I do recognize the floor and its bounce level. Clearly that bounced, and we're gonna go to the hourly here. Okay. All right, so let's come up with a game plan there. Yep, sitting right on cost basis. Now you have a box that's easy peasy right there, lemon squeezy, empty space up above. So right now it is sitting on the floor. If sellers cannot do their job, then you will go up and you will find the sellers that you need before you continue moving down. That being said, that could mean a retest right there. So, and I mean, wait, what? Hold on. I got a new ban today. A new flavor of a ban? What ban is this? Your live is not eligible for recommendation, restricted in search result because it primarily directs people off the platform, because I said Discord. That's funny because I just said that I was going to go live on TikTok. No, I'm not. If you're watching this back, TikTok mods, I'll touch you.
And now you're banned completely.
all good. All right. Oscar,
Can I
PGY.
ask one follow up on that one?
Yeah, what's up, brother?
So would you say the stop loss for you going into Tuesday would be that 1670 if it breaks through it?
100%. Yeah, if you pop off the
Awesome.
top right there, easy stop loss. And then you could use that very same box. You would then have a signal to the downside. So now
Perfect. Appreciate
my
it.
hope is that you just get what you need and it breaks for the floor and it heads to 1620, which I would, yeah, right there. Juicy. All right, let's see here. We've got PGY, Pagaya. I definitely see why you're looking at this one down. Okay, that makes sense. So 50% retracement of the candle itself. Empty. Okay. Okay. So yeah, you definitely didn't do your job. You got pulled back underneath that. So yeah, if you decided to go short on that one back down to 34.90, yeah. And I mean, honestly, it could be worth another week of expiration to see whether you get a punch back and a move down there as well. Anyone hedging Neo? I mean, no. I'm not hedging it because I'm mostly done with it. Now is my eyes are on Rivian. Ugh. You don't like it. You know what? Rivian, we won't burn you to an unrecognizable crisp.
Listen, don't get me started.
I will. All right, I won't.
You should.
So we've got BA to the upside. Brooke. You want to do what to the hold on to the upside? Okay. Damn. So my little levels worked today, didn't they? You went up. You went and hit 230. My little levels. You hit 238, and then you pulled back into the structure. So honestly, that's your signal, right? We let the chart tell us where we need to go. You need to obviously get back outside candle close 236.50 and grab the floor up above you. If you cannot do that, this is something that could qualify for a downside move with the empty space and vulnerabilities that it has inside of that box. So if buyers can't get the job done and you lose the floor, I think specifically on that 2 hour, it's 233. 233, you come down. I don't like today. Today would have been like, okay, I'll wait. What do you want to do this? PLTR up. So that is also going to be just as simple as what I just told you. 158.30 is your upside trigger. Period. End of story. Now, here, let me talk about a couple of things that I really like about this chart. And then, yeah, something I don't like. Okay. Now, again, this is why channels, this is exactly, hold on. Let's have a discussion. This is exactly, precisely on the fucking nose why channels are not the law. Bounce, pop up, reversal. You think everybody's going short. Pop up, nothing, reversal. You're edging sellers, dead ass. Like, ooh, no, you can't have it. And what the hell is that? Oh. But that being said, what a way to pull yourself off of the floor. What a way to have empty space up above you and above that. I cannot lie. This is intriguing. So the hedge already 159.50. The target is 172. But you know, again, conditions you have to have because it's not triggered, you got to have a good ass plan. And if you can't afford a good ass plan, then you just have to have good ass discipline, right? As Muhammad Gandhi said, don't do Electric Avenue. All right.
It wasn't Muhammad Gandhi.
I know, I knew that as soon as I said it came out of my mouth. It's a different universe where Muhammad and Gandhi merged together into one.
And moving on.
Very interesting.
Ahmed Gandhi, I know, right? It's not what I said meant to say. All right, can you leave me alone? It was an accident.
It's not what I said meant to say.
How about I just say Gandhi? You know what? That's what everybody else calls him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going outside of my language barrier. Okay.
It's still English.
You know, no, it's not.
It's written in English.
Cut your
Yeah, but-
losses, Potter.
All right, well, go get me a bowl of mataha or matama.
Are you calling it special?
um, so here's what I see on I mean, PLTR looks like it wants to explode. I can't verify that, so I'm gonna add time. 172s are expensive for 14 days out. That is just inevitable. But 175s do kind of fit the script. Again, that's going to still be higher priced. I'm talking to a larger account right now for sure. You could get 180s, but it would have to move before that second week because on that once it has a week worth of expiration left, you could get schmacked. And then again, 145s, I would get a shorter expiration on that one. And those are, so this is going to be a pricey position for sure. At least on the contracts, you don't have to buy as much. All right, let's see here. When it comes to a stock like this, do you take Gap, ANF, or Urban? Wait, when it comes to a stock like this, Jeff, do you wait a stock like what? The stock that you were telling? Wait, Tesla? I'm confused.
He probably meant because it's a retail.
Oh yeah, I mean, retail sector would move. Oh, for AO?
American Eagle. For their
Got
earnings.
you. Okay. Do I take those as a guide? No. No, I don't. Damn, Urban looks like it. What did you say? Did you say short you? Now? Okay. Sorry. That actually looks like a pretty good play to the downside now that I look at it. Holy shit. Come on. Yeah, look at that. Box, candle close, tap that. You bounce, retest, and then you fall into the rest of that empty space. So I could see this going all the way to $55. How much does Urban cost and how bad are their spreads? Bet you 14 days. And those are not bad at all. Those are not bad at all. 60s. I normally don't like to take things, but that's a weekly candle close at a floor with empty space directly underneath it and a delicious first target of $60. And then if that worked, then the runners would fall into the empty space below that and 55, and I'd be fucking $5 in the money. All right. Lulu straddle for earnings next week. Oh my God. Okay, so let's just go over one thing before we get started on this because we're consolidating going into earnings, and that's good. You've got empty space directly up above you, and that's good. But do you move? You do. You do. You definitely do. Do. Okay, that's empty space. Get fucked. That's what I want. Yeah, fuck it. I'll ride with you. What do you got? Give me a signal.
You asking me, puppy, or what?
Yeah, you're the Lulu man, right? Bet you're wearing stretchy pants right now. When is that? When are the earnings on this thing? Next week on Thursday?
On Thursday. I posted it.
Oh, gross. Are these contracts going to get more expensive? And where's the target? 223. You can count me out. Have a good nice day. Yeah, that's all you, Poppy. I might take one. I mean, it's gonna slap, dude. It's gonna slap if it hits, regardless of how expensive it is. But
Yeah, I'm not gonna
if
grab
you
a
look
lot.
at, yeah, I mean, that's something I would grab maybe like one or two. I don't know. That's
I'll think at least 2 or 3.
maybe, yeah. I guess you could do that. What do the
Sir,
hedges look
you was
like?
just playing around with snow at $200 a contract, and you don't want to mess with that one.
You know what? It didn't start that way. That was a snowball journey, pun intended.
Pun intended.
Astro, if you do not mute your mic, I'm going to send it straight out my window. I can hear myself talk in your mic, and I don't like that. I don't like it at all.
You bitch. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, right. Come on, get it together, Cade. Just waiting for an opportunity to launch an insult.
Nothing I said was not fact.
Oh man, y'all take it up after school then. That is ridiculous. All right, let's keep moving. We got just a few minutes here.
Just get me with ALK.
I'm still holding this one. I like it a lot. I think that it's doing a great job today of holding itself back up. I wouldn't be surprised if we can get a gap up and go and hit my next target of 64.82. I'm holding all the way.
I like it. Same. Okay.
Cool. All right. Let's see here. Braze has earnings. Wait, what the fuck? How does it move on earnings? That's my first question. Big dumper. Bad pumper. Big dumper, but it didn't hold. Wow. So you did dump on that one. Pumps. So this shit does not like to go up. Yeah, even there you went up and then you just dumped. That's the last time you went up, and that was 2023. Listen, already I'm just gonna say does not, strike my fancy. You are up against the 24-hour box, or what was the 24-hour box on the weekly. You're at that 50% mark, and you do have empty space up above you. You also have a downtrend, right? So if you did, I can't hate that. The only set of data that really contradicts this is the previous earnings. Yeah. All right, so we've got CCL down. Purely speculative, right? Purely. You can't, I mean, yeah. The Black Pearl, what's up, dude? This one, again, if you're taking it, what matters the most? If you're going to take something like this, which does have empty space underneath it and a great 31.36 target, as long as it loses today's low, it is speculative, right? Purely. And one thing that can happen here that has not happened yet, if you do not lose that low, is you will just make a box out of that. So yes, if it can break down, cool, but have a great stop loss, because that's really all that matters. I would venture to guess, actually looking at the 15-minute, that is probably going to be above 32. Goes up. All right. Up. All right. So I know everybody and their mothers asked me about this one. I get it. It's, same thing, unfortunately, as yesterday. you know, or today, everything I said then was true, and today is true as well. You have not moved. You have spent all day accumulating. You have empty space underneath you. We could argue buyers aren't doing their job, at least when it comes to pushing this higher. Sellers aren't doing their job as far as pushing this lower, and you're building a box because of it. So if you want to go up, you got to break 55. Are you closing up against it? Yes. Did you do that here as well? Yes. Did you fall and move into the empty space below you? Yes. So right now, again, I am withholding a position myself. Now, I will, again, if you're already in, don't take that as a get out of the trade. It is just me. I'm not doing it yet. I like confirmation, and again, it's a style thing. I do see the potential to go and try and build this channel, which could give you that $60 run. But yeah, I would say, especially if you're in it, you know, if you're in it, you're holding what you need to hold. You're holding what you need to hold. So now you're just in a read and react mode, and as soon as it pops off the top, autopilot. Not FSD though. Autopilot. It's just all right. Let's see here. Oh my god, I thought my wife stole a car. Rivian. So I know I was just talking about this one on the weekly, which is really my biggest concern here. You know, I did grab I did grab the Rivian contracts yesterday for December. Those are flat still. But that being said, I want to see Rivian over these candle closes. And I think that's when I very strongly feel that above that level, we will go and start making our way potentially back up to this top. This is a ridiculous amount of consolidation. We have been consolidating with the same floor since May of 2024, right? So we've, you know, surpassed a year of choppage. So I would, yes, and am, yes, looking for this thing to rip. And I am putting myself in a position for that to happen. Based on my equity and options, I will be taking a long vacation if we can do that. But that is going to take just a couple more candle closes above some key levels in order to make that happen. So, all right. Chad. So this is where, you know, I don't try to be a good problem solver in a box. But yes, there is, of course, inside of this range. Hi, baby. Hi, quick hug. Hey, baby. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I was just making sure my box was similar to what you have.
Yeah, 2336, and you can head down for sure.
It's closing right on cost basis.
Yeah, I see that.
Looks like. So that's a good thing for the upside. I have it long
Mhm.
term up, so I'm not in a hurry. But
Yeah. Let's see here. Shirley, I saw one of your videos come up right before I got on live. I couldn't tell if it was you roasting another astrologist, but if it was, I like it. Wish I could give more. I wish I could give you better analysis on this thing. But what can I tell you when you are in between heaven and hell? I mean, it is dead at you're in purgatory. There is a box here, so I could see a pull back into that 2330 that could set off a chain of events. You also have been running up inside of this channel here. So you could say 2 rejections and come back down and see 1150. That's where maybe. But other than that, you know, that's all I see. Now again, we can go and look at the earnings and kind of walk back. Doesn't look like the last 2, 3. Okay, so that one was decent. You had to move from 17 down to 14. You know, so it's hit or miss for sure. Hit or miss for sure. Reminds me of Gap. Lily, price target for Rivian, $23 for me. $24 basically. All right, 24-hour candle close. You are struggling to hold on to your floor, so there is a probability of this thing, if it can't, which it's trying, right? It's trying. But if it cannot, you do have empty space and a clear retest based on the structure that you have underneath you. Wait, Macy's has 2 Levi jeans for 1? That's a good deal. I should probably get out of my house sometimes. I just be ordering clothes online. What are we swinging? Not hands? No, no hands today. I think it's been like a couple years. AAL. You curled up off of that top. I think we talked about this one yesterday. You have a gap up there as well. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, we were looking at the 50% of that range. This isn't my favorite. You know, with all I'm gonna say is gap fill, because is there a box beyond that, and can that just serve as a resistance? Yes, 100%. All right. Gold up. You know, me and TTI are both on the same page with this. Yes. In my long-term account, I have a gold position. This has been consolidating for a shit ton. I mean, this has been consolidating for fucking ever. So that's one thing that we can look into as far as looking at downside positions going into this next week. We do see gold ripping into the weekend. So that could be something to pay attention to as well. How did that appeal go? They didn't appeal it, or let me see. We'll check it in a minute. All right. JD. Yes, I did keep my calls. Yep, I did. Yeah, I like that. Am I watching the MJ sector? I mean, not any more than usual. What else? Neo. So Neo's doing a great job of building. Now, I'm pretty much going to be out of this position. The next set of analysis falls back here to the weekly, where I have a target of $7 flat. So if you're interested in that, that is the next target up above you. There is more empty space up there, like even in areas like up here. So, you know, once that gets reclaimed, you're looking up in this area now, which could be pretty big. So,
Jeff, you know he's got earnings, right? On Tuesday?
oh, it does it? Oh, morning?
Yep.
Hold on. Don't talk to me. Tuesday. 8:30, 8:30, 8:50s then. These are dirt fucking cheap. Come on. Oh shit. Oh. Accept me. Accept me. I've been accepted. Oh. Cool. All right. Just put a little bit of cheddar into that. All right. Let's see, what else do we got? PG. Lord have mercy. Oh my god. Can we never chart this again? Please. Please. Oh my god. PG. So you did bounce off of that. Where are you heading? Into the largest box. You're trying to grab that floor. 24 hour. What does that look like? There's no empty space. There's nothing. It's a wasteland of pharmaceutical greed. Oh man, this chart fucking sucks. All I can say is candle close at 159.25, but for sure 160.80. Sorry, I didn't mean to roast that chart so hard. It's just so ugly. SoFi. So this one is again, up against that previous all-time high. It has now tapped it 2 times on the 24-hour time frame. If we're getting rid of all of this nonsense here, then this is what we're dealing with. And that doesn't really tell me much, right? Now, instinctively, my mind goes, well, second, quite a bit few rejections here. This should be coming back down to, at minimum, 23.30. And that's where, decisions have to be made. I think you also have a box underneath you. Yes, you do. So trigger down 21.83. PayPal. Yes, PayPal is a lot like, actually, it's better than XYZ, or it's worse than XYZ. Now, that being said, you need to be outside of 70.80. You need to be breaking 71.50, and that is your trigger for a 74.23 run. Okay. Starbucks ready soon. It's getting there. I think if you zoom out, Drago, it's we're getting really close. One of the things that we can kind of rest on is the fact that we're holding on to this floor and we've come down and retest this volume underneath us, just like we did previously, right? In here, you got to come down and grab that volume. So that being said, right, this is my focus because there is a good trade up here. Starbucks has a good trade. If you get a weekly candle close anywhere around 92.38, I think this is a straightforward banger. And we're looking at 98.20 to just kind of, that's where the big candles happen, is above that. Now on the 24 hour, it's going to look like this, except for the only difference is that's your box. So do you have a good bounce off that same exact level? Yes. I don't hate it. I'm actually going to go ahead and, now that you mentioned it, I'm going to set alerts on the $90 level. Yeah. Yeah, it did take me out. Patience for sure. So you got a rejection today off of the top. That's 3. That's 3. So you have equal or 2 off the bottom, 3 off the top. If this rejection falls down, you're going to be heading down. I track SPY, but seeing the possibility of some downside. So, but Twilio is 107.50. That's where we go up. I mean, this is easy, guys. It's just patience. Yeah. So by the way, if we do, I think maybe next week, those of you guys who have joined the workshop or any of the memberships, yearly, lifetime, whatever, if you're going through the workshop, I'm going to try to hold a Q&A next week. But a long one specifically for the Potterbox workshop. It's not going to be on TikTok, and not in the main Discord, just in that server alone. And we'll try to record it. We will record it and put it in there. So. Yeah, the channel time frame would be, I mean, what on what channel? Like a specific channel or just in general? Because I draw channels on every time frame. As long as I can see trend or structure. Yeah. Walmart. Listen, guys. Up first. This isn't going to be a straight line, I don't think. I think there's an upside retest of 99.85, but that's going to happen over 98. If you can lose your floor, you obviously have the potential punch down, but yeah. Puts on Walmart. Yeah, what are you taking on Walmart? It's empty space, and it's maybe it builds a box around cost basis, but part of me thinks this will go and retest, and it's Walmart, so that's part of the price action. It's weird. Yeah. What the fuck is? Oh my god. No Sunday charting from me. Oh my god. I did. Day trading is fake, guys. Most moves happen overnight. Yeah. Are you agreeing with me, or was that just? I think that guy. I think that guy picked the wrong channel. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, IWM looks really good. I actually really like IWM going into next week. SPX is sitting at cost basis. You're one punch down away from a nasty dumper. Nasty. Yeah, 464.08, and then the gap. Huh?
So I'm gonna be watching that on Tuesday morning.
Yeah, it's right at it's right at cost basis. So this is either where you rip up and go fill the gap and send it, and that's maybe where you're looking at this channel high, or you're looking down and you got all that empty space and a gap. That's big money down there. Am I hedging what? IWM? I grabbed a few. They're stupid cheap, bro. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the recording here. If you guys are watching this back on YouTube, I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you on Tuesday. Monday night at 6:30, we will do our prep, okay? I like to keep it fresh. So if you guys want to join us on TikTok, I'm going to do a quick Q&A. So if you guys have any questions or anything that you're trying to work on or anything of that nature, I'd be happy to answer those questions. If you have questions on the chat or anything like that, let me know. All right. Discord, I'll see you guys on Monday.
Have a good weekend, Potter.
Yeah, you too, brother. There's a game page you're looking today. Damn. That's actually pretty funny. Yeah, just give me 1 second here. If you guys don't mind, tap your screen, share the live, all that shit. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same. And yeah, we'll get to ripping. I might have to restart the live. I haven't. Let me see what they said about that ban. If they're banning me, then I need to. Okay, appeal approved. Cool. All right. Give me 1 second. With the IWM kind of down. All right. If you guys are on here right now, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and restart the live so I can redo the title of the live. I'll teach you how to make those channels. If you guys will come back to the live, just wait just wait a few seconds and I'll be right back on. When you hop on, be sure to tap the crap out of the screen though. I'm trying to dodge the algo right now, so. Yeah, save save that question. 1 second. I'll be right back. What's up, y'all? Your parents know? No, I actually don't know how. I don't know if they know if I trade or not. How's the weather down in Savannah? It's 82 and sunny. It's been a cooler day. I think it's record lows actually today. Pretty good. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna wait till we get to 100 viewers. So if you guys don't mind tapping your screen in the meantime, and we'll go ahead and get started. I just want to make sure everybody's here. So. Savannah population? Nah, Savannah is mad small. Yeah, it's cool. What's up, Zarko? When you were when you were new to 1 year, what's something you wish you would say to yourself as a newer trader? What would I say to myself as a newer trader? Just look at the chart. Just look at the chart. The answers are all there. That's how I found this. So the answers are, but I'd probably tell myself everything you need to know is on the charts. Don't listen to anybody. You know, learn about indicators and what they're trying to like highlight, because if I didn't learn about volume profile, I wouldn't have found the strategy. But about 8 or 9 years now. Something like that, somewhere near that. I don't know. 6, 7. When I first started, I obviously didn't, I started and quit and then started up again and then decided to quit. So, what do you think about the Renko charts? I don't think anything. Renko charts though? Are you talking about like an actual, is that a stock? You're talking about the candlesticks. Thank you guys for tapping your screen. Just waiting here. What was the hold on one second. What was the change you made in your trading that made you profitable? My charts are good, but I'm at break even. What made me profitable? Taking my profits out. So I had figured out how to make money. I figured out how to take a little bit and turn it into a lot, but I hadn't learned about when not to trade. And I did not trust myself to hang on to my profits. So when I made, if let's say I'm, had a $500 account and I hit 5,000, right? I'm taking that out and I'm starting over again. My number obviously was 10, but even at 5 or even 8, if I felt like it was time or that the market was not going anywhere and I was going to bleed, because I peeped game pretty quickly that in the beginning, that as soon as I hit 10,000, all of a sudden my strategy changed and I wanted to do things differently. Excuse me. So when I decided like, okay, well, dude, you have literally, so many times taken a small amount of money and turned it into $80,000 or to turn it into $10,000, amounting to $80,000. And the only mistake that I made was never taking that money out, because I had this obsession of growing my account. But I needed to grow my money. I needed to be able to pay my bills. So I focused on what I was dealing with right now. And I would take that money out and I'd put some of it aside. I would typically, I didn't need a ton to live off of. So, 2,000 or, 3,000, set it aside, and keep building. So if you're somebody who's starting out with a little bit, I tell people this all the time: take profit, pull money out. If you just took 100 to 1,000, do it again, right? Because right now, if you have been doing this for a year, and this was a mind blowing, like, if you've been doing this for a year, you're still not there, right? No matter what you do, you can make money, you could be profitable, but you're not there yet. So taking a little bit and making it a lot and then pulling that money out is acknowledgement that you still have to learn. And if you can acknowledge that you still have more to learn, at least to be profitable, that right there is just going to let you, instead of us making excuses for our bad behavior and allowing it to keep happening, because whatever's wrong in your trading, you're choosing, right? You're choosing to not abide by your stop loss. You're choosing to buy way too many speculative setups. So it's you. So if you can acknowledge that and that's learning, right? Learning is trying and experimenting all sorts of different shit. But obviously at some point, you have to acknowledge where you're at in your journey. I'm very confused what happened with the KSS. The play was down on earnings, but you guys made money going up. I didn't know what to do. So Zarko on KSS on earnings. Oh, I didn't make any money on that, dude. And I would assume that you had a strike price that was outside. It didn't ever get touched. So how do you put a stop loss down for options? You have to sell it yourself on most brokerages, unfortunately. It's not like futures. Oh, well, they did swing it, yeah. But I don't. If you traded into it, then maybe. It was down on earnings, but you guys made money going up. Yeah, so earnings the next day, right? If earnings snaps down like this and you open up on the floor and explode up, then they had calls and they made money. Review Max, how long have you been using the strategy? Or have you been using the strategy, my strategy? Well, Zarko, that is earnings, man. And that's why if the setup is not clear, which that one was not, I don't go one-sided. How do I tell the range or difference between a range and a box? A range does not have 3 or even sometimes 2. Like, for example, at least on the 24-hour, this would be a range because there's only really 2 rejections there and a bounce there. You don't have a traditional box, right? A traditional box. So let's look at it, right? This should be a good example for you. Brother did not wake you up in the slightest. Is the boom boom stick, so it's organic. I'm tired. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a little winded, but I wanted to get this done for you guys. So let's take a look at this, right? We've got 2 off the bottom. We have 1, 2 off the top. That is a box. This is just a rejection, pullback, retest, right? Retest the 50% mark of the previous candle, and you continue to fall. So there is more structure, right? I can easily say 1, 2. Here, obviously, you set for 1, but that is what makes a box, right? That type of price action is what makes a box. So if I want to, trade something knowing it's going to continue higher, I'm focused on something that has proper structure. So how to decide candle close or wick? So I personally go with points of contact. So that means that, like, let's look right here, right? So zooming into this chart, if we had, and I guess in this case you don't have that wick, but if that wick hits that body, that would be, anything else outside of that would be irrelevant to me. Now that's not a box, but even, okay, so let's make it harder, right? Clearly there's some inside candles there. So that would more than likely be, like, if I was to find the floor here. Do you see that? Candle close, candle close, candle body. That would be the floor. So that's how I identify that. And there would be the same difference on the upside. And if I can't find it, which is okay, a lot of people will stop right there and they're like, they get lost. I just go to the 4-hour. So made $700 today. Nice job, Tall Griff. What is proper structure? That's what we were just talking about. That is let's see. I think I W is the proper structure here. So proper structure would be like something like this, right? That is volume filled. That is a volume filled box. This is a range. That is it. What's better, out of the money calls with 30 days of expiration or at the money calls with shorter expiration? So I personally don't. I typically always stay out of the money. because my strategy is focused on low risk. So if I can find a target based strike, which I'm really good at, when it comes to targets, I slap. So when I find a solid target on the chart, those are the so like let me give you an example of a trade that I took yesterday. I took a earnings trade on Marvel, and I needed to find a target. Right now, the first target, the most obvious target, would be 68 because of the multiple points of contact, and that was to the downside, meaning if we didn't break out above 80.28. So my target to the downside, I'm focusing on the box, the top of it, which is what we've already bounced off of. So I can assume that the volume that was inside of that box has been pulled out. You've bounced, the volume's gone. So it's going to be a lot easier to dump through that. So I'm going to aim for the median, the 50% mark. That's my target. That's 63.80. Now, I found that the Marvel $65 strikes were properly priced and within my risk, so I bought those, seeing that, well, if cost basis gets hit, I'll be in the money and I'll sell my contracts there. So I like, and I will say, it is very rare that I'm at the money. It is very rare. I am typically looking for something that, again, so let me actually dive in a little bit deeper onto this. This is a good subject matter. So if I'm looking for a trade coming out of consolidation, then there's a high probability that max pain has been implemented on those contracts. But the contracts that are within that box will still retain their value, especially coming back up to the top of the box. That means that the volume at the money would be higher than the contracts that are out of the money and have experienced the most max pain. So that is my technical explanation for that, if that makes any sense. Sorry, I had to stare in one spot when I was breaking that down. Oh, that autistic black hole. So NVIDIA calls all this. NVIDIA didn't do anything. NVIDIA didn't do anything. No, NVIDIA did not call us all. That's not how this works, man. So in the market, what they do is they use a headline to justify something that it was already going to happen in the first place. Because most of this stuff is already set up mechanically. It's almost without quite. I mean, have you ever seen a bad earnings go up or a good earnings go down? It's probably something mechanically that, and this is an argument that me and TTI are going to have in the future. A good debate about it, because I believe that earnings, if the setup is clear, the same kind of setup that I would trade on a regular basis, that is predictable, and that is something that I have made money consistently on. All right, like Gap, yeah. Like Gap being one of those ones that doesn't have the clearest setup. I do like it. I still like it, actually. But it's a punchback, a range break away from that empty space. Luckily, this one was not that expensive, but yeah, this will be on YouTube. No, I mean, Gap, to me, guys, I'm not mad about Gap. I don't think anybody else should be either. I mean, did it have the setup for the kind of earnings that we needed? It had a if this then that kind of setup, and that just hadn't happened. If you had been outside, already punched back 22.85, I don't think there would have stayed a chance. It would have ripped. A Bitcoin price action for the end of the year, probably too soon to tell. See the weekly. Wow. Yeah, I feel like we're gonna probably see a little bit more downside here. I mean, I think the market needs a healthy ass retracement since basically December. So starting in March, you started a bear cycle into December. That was 2022. Here, you hardly were bearish. So even if you came back down and retested 71.5, that'd be fire. But September is typically bearish. So do you think the market is due for a September-October seasonal? Oh well, yeah. I think it's in the cards. I think looking at the chart, there is a lot that is underneath us that, yes, would drive me to look down. So let me highlight some of those things that I'm seeing that make this such a potential, right? So first of all, we're mid punch back already, but there's a box underneath us that punches back. This is the cues. You have a gap fill. That gap fill takes you down to this floor. And between you and that floor, you would just have a box. That box also has empty space in it to 550. And then there's even more, all the way to 535. So at some point, you know, if and let's also take into account, and it's too soon to say that it is going to go down, but you have made an official second high, you know, and you look at crypto and stuff like that, they're already pulling back. So, yeah. Risk reward, it could be as high as fucking 1 to 10, dude. Our risk reward is allows us to trade with the possibility of not hitting 60% of our trades and still being profitable, but you have to stay inside of that risk. I struggle with hedging bad. Is that part of the workshop? I go through hedging. I go through hedging quite a bit. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna start working on the workshop again because I'm gonna put it on an actual web page. Um, that's it. But I will say, with with the workshop, especially this one, of all of the things that if you have not taken it, there's a lot of people who are outside of the Discord and they're dealing with issues that workshop has the answers to. And I mean, I try to answer as much as I can in these, but as far as chronological order, you know, obviously that's the way to go. So, usually how far out do you buy contracts? It depends on the chart, man. So if I was to say I want to short the Qs down to that gap fill, I would be looking at each resistance that I would have to go through, including the bounce levels like right here. And yeah, I think that's actually about it. So because we haven't broken this floor, I add a week, box, add a week, floor, I add a week. So immediately when I look at this, you know, and that's quick analysis, but I would look at a 3 week, 3 to 4 weeks down to go all the way to 552, you know. So however, if I was trying to, let's say we opened up and we gapped up here, right? I would allow this to retest possibly. And then if this came down, right, that's where, because this empty space is located on the hourly, I would be trading that empty space with shorter expiration contracts. So lower the time frame, or well, not even really lower the time frame, but if you have empty space directly up above you, that's when weeklies are the goal. Do you straddle earnings, or how do you know which direction? Yes, I do straddle earnings here and there. I would say here and there because I don't jump into every earnings that I see. I have a very, very specific setup that I am looking to take into earnings, and I can show you that I have like a specific setup, and it's the same setup that I'm looking for on every single other stock. You go look at all of the stocks that I've traded going into earnings, and they will all look the same most of the time, right? Here, empty space going to a box, punch back going into earnings, right? So I'm taking that through its empty space. That's a no-brainer trade. Nike was another one that we took. Again, empty space above, stacks, right? You're building, you have the punchback that happens right here by bouncing down below the box, on the box below, punching back and moving up. So if it looks like that, I don't give a fuck what the earnings are. They could probably be bad and it'll still go and hit my target. Yeah. A lot of people, there's like it's shrouded in mystery and there's no reason for it to be. I mean, I said that Snow was going to move on earnings. That much I could almost promise, and it did, right? And that alone is like I can spot where that momentum buildup is at. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, keep dropping your requests. Keep tapping your screen if you can, please. Everybody in here, if you can. I just want to say I really appreciate all these lives. Of course. That's how I scam. If you guys didn't know that, that is how I scam. I teach you how to be profitable. And then once you're profitable, then you buy my memberships. And then you start, and then you make money. So you make money, and then that's how I scam you. That's the scam right there, folks. I make you money, and that's it. How did you know QQQ is going to dip? This morning? Simple, man. I'll explain it really quickly. Guys, this is a cakewalk. And then I'll explain this hopefully until you guys get it. When you, and I want you to like, this is important, right? This is important. When price makes this much of an attempt to break out, and then it does, and then it pulls back and it goes underneath, right? And I'm going to break this down even further. That's when I go short. But there's a twist here, right? I'll show you the twist. When you broke out, you immediately were met with force that pushed you back down. You built a box. Watch this, everybody. Box. Where did you open up? Right? So let's go to the 15-minute. So in order for us to go up and go get a gap fill, right, we would have needed to go and reclaim something. So we opened up this morning inside of our very own area of consolidation, like so. So if the market shoots up and grabs nothing, that is typically where they grab liquidity. Me knowing that if you break out of something and then you fall back underneath it, you're going to fall. So my pre-market lows would guarantee or solidify that you have fallen underneath not only the floor that you built, but the resistance that sellers will pull price back underneath with. So when I look at this, I say, well, you've got a small box. And if you punch through that box, you have a gap. And if you go through that gap, that is empty space, and you'd be looking at the floor, right? Hi, Potter, are my comments visible? Sometimes they don't go through. I have some weird, it like blocks certain messages, so you got to deal with that. But that's how I knew. I knew that if you had, it's just like anything else, right? Like if you held something up and then it comes back down and smashes it, like more than likely it's going to fall down if you can't catch it. And so like in this example, you gap down, you try to go up, and then you immediately reverse and lose your floor, which then triggers the breakdown, and you lose both sell levels. And that tells me that we are going to go down. Okay. So reclaiming, okay. So it's the same thing as the upside, right? It's the same thing as trying to go up. You need to grab a floor. Now, there's also another reason that I decided that going short was going to happen today. You see that previous resistance? You see that first green candle to your left? That is your first target. You tapped it. You tapped it. So by failing, right, at that rejection level and gapping down, you cannot lose that pre-market low. You cannot. So give me 2 seconds. Hold on. UPS man is here. I don't want any goddamn package thieves getting me. How can I deal better with FOMO? Perspective. Think about it. Shame yourself a little bit. Sometimes shame is good. Fear of missing out, right, means that I am fearful that the opportunities that are in front of me will no longer exist. You are in the stock market. Let me take you on a little journey, okay? Follow me. You want me to show you some other things that you missed? How about Apple? How about Apple? It was 47 cents at one point, obviously in the 80s. In the early 2000s, it was only down at 37 cents. Now, well, actually, I take that back because it has split, right? So the price is accounted for that split. But you've already missed so much. You could look at NVIDIA. You missed that, dude. Do you know how rich you would have been if you would have bought this? Rich. Right? We can do this with, I could go through 1,000 different things. You are in the stock market where opportunity, right? In order for rich people to keep getting rich, they have to keep creating new opportunities, right? Charts continue to do how long? So walk with me again, right? We look at the gains page. You've missed, if you haven't caught any of these, you've missed all of the gains, all of them. And if you keep scrolling with me, I'll speed that thing up even faster. If you keep scrolling with me, this is last year. This is the year before that. So stop looking back. Stop being fearful of what you are rather fearful of something that doesn't even exist yet, right? Fear of missing out on what, right? So either it looks good, you take your trade, and the results will speak for themselves, or you continue to be fearful of what you might miss out on, which is energy that is diverted from what is right in front of you, which is opportunity. There is a watch list that you could build right now, Rookie Rodriguez. There's a watch list. There's stocks right now. There's probably a notepad somewhere near you and a pen. Go out and find shit that's looking, it doesn't have to be right now, right? Go out and start building a good watch list of things that look like that. Of things that look like, what else do I have? What's up? Oh, I would say, things that did look like snow. Things that look like Disney with those big legs down. You want to look for things that have created a lot of empty space up or down and are now spending their time consolidating. Yes, could Mara be a good trade? Sure, but it's not something that I'm really hyper concerned about because the empty space is small and the move's probably going to be faster than you could catch anyway. So, dude, NVIDIA call option fucked me. I mean, I may have warned you, but no, I'm just kidding. NVIDIA was not a good trade, man. And I did not take part in that one. I traded Snow because of its setup was cleaner. And NVIDIA has been carrying insane option volume. So it is 100% an option seller. Dream. Bro, that's SMC. No, dude. No, it's not. No, it's not. See, that's how I know. No, it's not. So they named my strategy SMC. That might be real. I've been doing this for a while, but whatever name they have for whatever it is, I have had SMC traders in my Discord as well as ICT traders, and they're wrong. They're just wrong. I can actually tell you a specific area that comes to mind on this exact chart where SMC traders told me that I was going to get wrecked at $20.10. Or if I got lucky that I might get 21.81. Do you know what I pulled out of this trade? I put I put, I think, around $1,200 into this trade, and I ended up pulling out $24,000. So I don't. Again, I'm sure that somebody out there might have a name for boxes that's different from mine, right? There's going to be the same names for the or different names for the same thing, but are they using it like I am? No, clearly, because if they were, then they would actually have the results that we do. So. Right. Yeah. So like with as far as SMC, ICT, they have names for fucking everything and things that don't even matter. But again, I always go back to: are you guys producing the same type of gains that I am? Are you teaching people who are now self-sufficient enough to be able to do that on their own? Probably not. Yeah. See, is it okay to look at the 24-hour if I see no empty spaces? Yeah, yes. Oh my God. Yeah. So, yeah, yes. Is it okay to look at the 24-hour, and if you see no empty space, you move on to the next chart? I pray to God that everybody in here does that. I pray that if you look at a chart and it does not immediately, you guys could just go ahead and everybody just throw chart request right now. Just throw chart request, and I'll show you guys on my own how fast I'll move through these stocks. Right. Trash, no empty space, not taking it. See that? Easy. Trash, trash, trash all around. Now, again, is there a bigger, or I'm looking at the 24-hour time frame. Is there any empty space? No. Okay, what's up? SMCI. Empty space. Is this a good play? 24-hour time frame. Yes, there's a play down to this box right here at 37.50. That's likely going to happen next week. Affirm. No, there's no play left on this trade. It has already filled up all of its empty space, and if anything, you'd probably be looking to trade it down or wait for it to build. But I wouldn't take it. No, AMD, not a good one. Or excuse me, that one is not a good one. So AMD, does it have empty space? The 4-hour and the 24-hour show that there's some pretty loose boxes and some pretty tight consolidation where you're at. There's empty space above you. That's a good play to 175. And there's also a potential trade down to, yes, 158. And of course, cost basis, which I think this makes I would say this is probably a C plus. So it's a decent trade, and it does have empty space on the 24-hour down to 140, and that would be a solid retest. SIG, no, I just would never. Let's see, anything left? Nope, not doing it. JD, I like that one, but it's not, as far as the Potter box is concerned, it is not on those lines at all. If anything, there is I'll be honest with you guys, it's not super adherent to my strategy. The reason I'm taking it is cost of contract, and of course the third bounce on a dynamic channel after a insane amount of consolidation. And I'll play what I perceive to be a break intention, but as far as the strategy goes, I wouldn't really waste too much time on this one, and I didn't put too much money into it because what I just told you. NVO, this isn't something that I personally would trade, but yes, this does have good empty space directly up above you. And the reason that I don't trade it is because I stay away from biopharmaceutical because they move very weirdly. Okay, so that being said, yes, this is actually a decent setup, not something that I would trade, but above 58.29, there's empty space directly up above you. So that's a trade. You could write that down if you like that one. NVO, move it on, right? Marvel. Now I cut 1,000% trade here to the downside, but is there any more? Is there any empty space below me? Do I see anything on the weekly? I guess one thing that we can come to a conclusion on is that this thing is definitely being held down underneath the top of this wall. But is this a punch back or punch down or anything of that nature? No, it is not. So is this clear? And as we move through this chart, where's my box? Right? Maybe there. The 24-hour is going to be clearer. That's where this box is here. That box leads to another area of consolidation, which is down here. So no, there is not any sort of clear play to either side, right? And here's the thing. Can this keep going down? Sure. Does it adhere to my strategy? No. Did I take it for earnings because it went into earnings with a lot of consolidation and potential moves to the upside? Yes. Did I hedge that with downside 65 puts that saved life and made me a lot of money? Yes, I did. PayPal, I can already tell you, no. Now, I'm projecting. Forgive me. As far as a good setup is concerned, yes, this is a good setup. I'm just being a dick. I don't like PayPal. Again, personal preference. Would I trade it if it broke? Yes. Would I have a smile on my face at entry? Probably not. But is this a 24-hour box consolidation underneath the potential reclamation of a floor that would lead you to empty space? Yes, there is. So I would be looking for a punch over 72.31 into the empty space. Keep going. More, faster. Pause. Victoria's Secrets, 24-hour. Yes, that would be something that I would be looking into. Now, Victoria's Secrets does move slow, so already I would just go ahead and put it in my cards that I'm going to have a longer expiration. Today, you wicked out, which might mean you have to wait. But what you can do is say that if a candle closes above 23.50, you got empty space up to 28.18 and all the way to 32 potentially. VKTX. I'm going to go ahead and say no. At least on the 24-hour, no. So, and I'll explain why I'm going to say no here. So A, you have already and just punched down. You moved through that box into lower structure. And so what you're going to be doing right now is going up to your next previous resistance. And that's it. Now, if I can get that, sure, right? That could turn into a decent trade. But this could and normally would be just a retest. So, all right, Costco. I can tell you probably not. Okay, so this is a example of a chart that has nothing for me. Now, again, I'd like to emphasize, does that mean that it won't move? Of course not. Of course, it's probably going to move in one direction or another. But and what we're doing here is taking advantage of a strategy that gives us solid, high percentage results. But we have to find setups that are adherent to that. So when we move outside of what a punchback or empty space is, the risk gets higher, right? And so you have to take that into account. So it does mean, yeah, you can pull the analysis that I give or lower time frame analysis that requires more of your time. So if you look at a 24-hour chart and it's not clear, what is that telling you? It's going to require more of your time. Clear 24-hour chart, less of your time. Ugly 24-hour chart, more of your time. Okay. TTD, yes, that is going to be a plus setup, but it's likely going to need to keep building. But yes, that is clean. It is empty space. It is what I look for. It is what I want. Not traditionally, but and I'm not really into shorting dudes on steroids, but this is something that, yes, if the floor was lost, at least 50% of that retracement, it is empty space. And as long as I can set a solid stop loss, pick a good expiration, I wouldn't be in too much trouble. And I think this could make for a decent trade, but it has to break. Yeah, I don't have too much time outside of the weekends and after work. So when I first started, I had plenty of time, or rather when I first kind of hit my stride, I had plenty of time. And what I found is I still don't want to waste my fucking time. The more money I make, the less I want to fucking put into trying to force a gain. And really, this is just me learning. This is just like putting a machine learning, right? Every time I enter this setup, I make a ridiculous amount of money. This year alone, I have beaten every record I've ever set for myself. I have surpassed the gains that I made last year by midsummer. And this year, I have put so much less of an emphasis on day trading. And what it was a decision as a leader inside of the Discord, obviously. But this January, I said, this year, we're looking to lock the fuck in. We're going to make profitable traders. We were doing that, but I wanted people who were still stuck with the day trading bullshit to understand that freedom, which is not having to stare at your fucking charts all day, not having to sweat over your money, right? In the moment, is buying at the end of the day into setups that are clear. And here's what I found. If you're in a small account, you probably think, or somewhere in your mind, you've probably thought, the more chances I take, the more probability of one of those trades hitting. But you're probably also somebody who keeps blowing their fucking account, right? Taking a bunch of bullshit. Let me tell you something. If you could focus on the ones that are the clearest and keep looking for them. If today you don't have one, then tomorrow you look again. If you don't have it, then you keep looking until you have put together a nice watch list, something made up of the stocks that you like, and you wait for. And this is what I would, I guess telling myself something. If I already knew my strategy, if I was to tell my younger self something, it would be you're gonna make more waiting than most people do trying. Because if you wait for the setup that makes sense and you take it when it makes sense, you're going to make cash. And that even applies to earnings trades. So if I can't make this any clearer to you guys, you would think it's the opposite. The more money I make, the more I have opportunity to make more money. And a lot of people might try to take advantage of that. But what I've learned is I can just take advantage of more of those opportunities that I see, right? Because when you're in a small account, you got to be choosy. But if you are somebody who is trying to stop the fucking cycle of losing money consistently, because every single time you make money, you can't stop. You can't stop. So when you make money or you hit one of these big trades, if you have the opportunity to do so, get that money out of your face, right? Get it out of your face and put it somewhere that you're not going to touch it. We'll talk about that. Hedging is buying the opposite of the other trade. So I'm like, for example, if I was long on Nvidia, but today it came off of the rejection, or yesterday came off of the rejection of the top, then on that rejection, or let's say yesterday when that candle closed green, if I speculated that there could be a high chance of that floor breaking and going down into here, I could grab a far out of the money contract on the other side of the trade, basically looking for the downside trigger. And if that downside trigger is hit, then that hedge will hit, right? And so that will also tell you to get out of your calls, making it a smooth departure, and sometimes even profitable. In fact, let me give you an example of that. I was joking around yesterday, and I told one of my group members said he was going to go short on Baba. I did not know they had earnings. My fault, but I just wasn't even looking at them for earnings. And so I told him, I was like, yeah, I'll take those 108s too. But because they're a little bit pricey, I'm going to go ahead and hedge with what could be the worst possible scenario. Because what I did say yesterday, and what I have been saying, is that Baba is going to move. I said that a couple weeks ago. I said Baba is lining up to put it together, the consolidation it needs to make a move. And so I grabbed 130 contracts and I made 1,000%. 1,000% on my hedges. I got out of the calls that I bought for 50. They were down 52%. Right? But I could have cared less. I made it out of that trade with a bag. So now, not all trades are applicable hedges. No, we don't put hedges on every single trade, but the trades that we take that don't have confirmation, for those of you guys who have larger accounts and can afford the risk of speculating, which is something that if you're in a small account, you have to be able to afford to do, then that's what I'll do. Now, getting back to what I was saying, for those of you guys who are trying to become profitable and in the cycle, I'm going to say it again. If you will wait and ask and look, right? What is a good setup? What is a good setup, Potter? Right? A good setup, especially going into earnings or any sort of catalyst, we're looking for empty space directly up above us. Let me show you some stocks that aren't there yet, but one day. Yeah, I made 1,000%. How do you pay myself? I pull the money out of my account, go to the banking part of your app, and it will say withdraw. Yeah, hit that. So let me show you a couple of stocks that aren't ready, but will be ready. Okay. Target. Can everybody see this? If you are in here right now and you follow me to any extent and you understand my strategy, can you tell me why I might want to trade this? Does it mean that I take it now? No. No. Aren't just like 0.25% of day traders successful long term, just being realistic about my chances? Yeah, Jerry, that is actually 100% true. And that's the good thing about not being a day trader. I see You want to? I could buy that floor, sure. Yeah, you see what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's what I'm projecting, but I don't know, and I don't care. I don't care what happens here. It's not draining any of my brain at all. I don't care. Here's what I will do. Watch this, everybody. Do you want to know how I'm going to catch target? I'm going to show you guys right now. Right now. Add alert. There you go. Now, let me explain why I did that. You ready? Empty space, right? Because it's all true. Box, open at cost basis. Empty space gets filled, we hit cost basis. We hit cost basis, we get a break. We get a break, we get a floor. We get a floor, we might get more. If we get more, we could afford a new core. 112.86, right? And we could pop off and go hit that floor above that. You need a detailed video like this? I'm literally uploading this on YouTube when we're done. So that's a setup that you can write it down right now, slap it on a sticky note, throw it somewhere. That's the trade. Is it happening now? No. Right? So I have 860 in my Be Safe Pal wallet, but I don't know how to trade. Okay. So let me give you a couple yeah, deadass. Yeah, so first of all, man, that's a, obviously a weird spot to be in. You have to stop. You cannot try to trade until you actually have an idea of what we're doing. So if you don't, then you are going to be acting on impulse and you are going to pay the price. So you make a box on the 24-hour to empty space, including all time frames, if you understand me. So I'm starting on the 24-hour so I can find that setup. If I find that setup, then I'm going down into the lower time frames to find an entry just in case it breaks intraday. XRP 2X over the weekend. Oh, XXRP? Oh. Dude, I might have to fucking short XRP, dude. What the fuck? That's coming down, dude. You're about to eat. Sellers are about to have a juicy fucking snack right now. Holy shit, I might have to open up a fucking trading brokerage for crypto. I'd put $10,000 into that shit and short it with a beautiful stop loss. I'd probably take it right now. But that would be a swing. Great heavens. Yeah. Oh my God. I would have a stop loss right there. And I would just be looking for that floor to break. You can short crypto? Hell yeah, you can short crypto. I don't trade crypto like that, but I would. I've been reading How to Day Trade for a Living. Great book so far, learning so much. That's cool, man. I have never read that book. But I'll also be honest with you, I have started trading in the zone. I read that book, and I thought it was great. And now I can't disagree more with a lot of the things that he said. And what I have also learned, well, I'm not a day trader, so this doesn't apply to that book. But what I have learned is that those are just people that wrote those words. That their fears, their risk, their frustrations, their experience, yes, can be good, but who they are will also determine why they experienced that. And I have had multiple books and multiple gurus tell me that your day trade should never turn into swing trades. And I can tell you that you can eat my fucking socks, because I cannot tell you how many times I took a trade on a Monday afternoon that ended up being 150% trade, and I trimmed those contracts off. The candle closes exactly where I needed to see continuation. I'm trading the chart, not a strat. Like I'm not bound by, are you a day trader or a swing trader? Like I will do what the chart tells me to fucking do. And most of the time I'm not looking at the 3 minute, so I'm not scalping. But Potter, no offense, but how would you not be a day trader? Because I would say close to 65 to 70% of my trades are overnight. And that is by definition swing trading. And by a statistic that everybody in here should know is that 80 to 90% of trading movement happens outside of trade, or excuse me, market movement happens outside of trading hours. Right? They happen outside of trading hours, which is why 0.25% of day traders make it, because they're idiots. Just kidding. But they are ignoring a simple statistic. Why? I guess my question is like, really, why day trading? Like, what is it like? It had to be some propaganda that got you. I mean, just like I think everybody else, it got everybody else. It's like, oh, you can like get in and get out and everything will be peachy keen. And, you know, like it's easy. And I think that reels people in and then they stay attached to that title of day trader. But I would just say you should be an opportunist. Find out where the opportunities are in the market. And if it turns it out to be a day trade, so be it. If it turns out to be a swing trade, let it do its work. You are so here's my strategy as well. I trade from point A to point B. So if I take it in the morning or I take it at night, it doesn't matter. I trade from point A to point B. So if I say I'm going to take a short out on XRP and the candle closes beneath 277, then I'm taking it. I have two targets, right? I would take it down first to these red wicks, first area of resistance that you've met. That could be a trim. And then I would be looking at what it can't reclaim, which would be 276. And then at that point, I would be looking to see if we could get the remainder of that empty space. And it would be point B, right? Or point C. So point A to point B to point C. And when I make a plan that sticks with that logic, there's less room for an emotion. All time frames are connected, so whether you're playing the levels on the 1 minute or the 1 hour, it's the same. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the same price mark, right? So like they're definitely all connected in a fractalized way, right? Of course, I will not argue that 100%, brother. But yeah, some of the prices might be a little bit different on there, but yes, you know, we are using that analysis that we find on the 24-hour time frame, and because we know as above so below, we're going to move into the lower time frames to see if we can't find ourselves an entry. So it's emotionally easier to get in and out rather than sleep on a trade or not sleep. I think that's the mystery, Jenny. So I'm going to say this, and I don't mean to offend anybody in here, but I believe that scalping first and then day trading second is off of fear. Day trading definitely takes more balls, more ovaries, whatever you want to, whatever you got, chop it up, mix it up, whatever. That is more stress inducing, at least for me, right? To have to be managing that trade all day. But scalping in itself is a fear-based strategy. I don't know what's going on above. I don't know what's going on below. So I'm going to insert a large amount of cash or high leverage, and I'm going to get in and I'm going to get really fast out, in, out, right? If you run into a dark room and you come out 2 seconds later, I'm going to assume you were scared, right? So I think when the fear of not knowing what the market is and how it works is alleviated, that's when swing trading makes the most sense. And that's something that I've had to do with people that I've mentored, people that I've done one-on-ones with, is like, I need you to trust this strategy and see it work. And that's the only way you're going to trust it, is to see it happen again and again. So go through these examples, keep charting, keep setting alerts, watch these things play out. And when that trust is developed, that's when you will, that's you're playing the whole mechanism, not a tiny micro fraction of it. You know what I mean? And not only that, scalping, because it's done typically with high leverage, you have to be a robot. You have to almost be a psychopath, right? Because every day, if that candle reverses or trigger really fast, you could be down big. So every trade with a scalp, a lot of the times, is a bunt, right? You could eat you might get a home run, but if tomorrow comes around and you miss another trade, you could be back down to where you started, or you could start snowballing. And not only that, the losses on scalps hurt so much worse to me, because with swing trading, and this is also something, Jenny, to take into account, my contracts that I'm buying, folks, are like $10, $15. Scalpers are buying $150, $300 contracts a piece, getting in and getting out. Scalping, let me say this, I'm gonna stand back while I say this. Scalping is the easiest, it is the most easy marketing strategy. I can market scalping so much easier than I would day trading or swing trading, especially swing trading. It is biologically wired into you and me to go after that. It's just like selling Schmex, right? Or Corn Hub. Those things are, we're taking advantage of human impulse, right? Instant gratification is and that's what led a lot of us to be inside of the market. But that is a instant gratification based strategy as well, right? You're trying to, and that's why it's so easy to market. I got in, I got out. It took me 15 minutes, right? And then I was rich for the rest of the day. Some babes came and painted my toenails, and I drank a margarita. Like, come on, bro. You're fucking lying, and you know you're lying. That's why I have such a bad taste in my mouth, and why a lot of people accuse me of being a hater. But it's just like I'm walking down the street and I see a pickpocket, dude. I'm gonna be like, hey, the guy's trying to, you know what I'm saying? But like, y'all, and Dean, Wild West Tumblers, he said he lost 300K doing that. I have watched millionaires lose their net worth, because not only does it become a fucking obsession, right? Because you know that you're so close to that money, and that if you could just be different, you could get this. But one thing that we don't acknowledge is that we're human beings. And in order to be that, you don't get to switch that on and off. You don't get to switch on a psycho switch or a sociopath switch where you feel nothing at all and then go home to your wife and kids and just be the guy again. No, that's not how that works. The change you seek in your work will affect your life. The change that you seek in your life will affect your work. So by seeking to be less emotional, right? Being emotional is not bad, but reacting to your emotions is bad. You can feel sad, but you probably shouldn't do a bunch of sad shit to reinforce your sadness, right? You can be mad, but you don't need to react to that anger in that moment. It's a moment, it passes. So there's something deep to this shit, you know. When I say scalping and day trading is, I mean, it's just an obstacle itself, and honestly, it's almost like a gatekeeper. But obviously, you can tell I have a lot to say about scalping. But I'm also just somebody who looks at statistics, and I'm like, okay, 80 to 90% of the market movement is after hours. What the fuck? Of course. Like, I'm gonna trade after hours. Of course I'm gonna swing. That's just me, you saying, that's like me saying the best time to swim is between fucking, you know, in the ocean is between 1 and 6, you know? And then instead everybody goes at 12 at night and they get sucked into a whirlpool and die. I'm just kidding. But like, yeah, man. And not only that, all of that fear and that like anxiety that clouds your mind, that makes it harder to do analysis, makes it harder to hold your positions, makes it harder to stick to your stop loss. That's what this system is for, to take away the fucking mystery. Did I solve the stock market? On a technical level, we're getting pretty fucking close. Like, this shit is, sometimes every week I am mind blown at least once or twice. At least once or twice. I'm like, no fucking way, dude. This shit's still working. But after and pre-market gets the biggest move, but hate the. Yeah, sometimes there's no control, but it's oftentimes where you open up that will let. And here's the thing: in my workshop, I explain this. So I'm almost tempted to show you guys a piece of the workshop. Maybe I will. A little sneak peek, little. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking. Hold on one second. Okay, I don't think I can. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I'll show you a piece of this. Right here. Oh, maybe I won't. Hold on a second. So, let's see. All right, it's a little bit off, but is the new workshop different from the old one? Yes. Don't show too much of Discord. Yeah, I know, right? All right. So, look, if you're looking at this, gapping up or down above or below sellers or buyers gives us a key indication to future movement. By gapping up over a sell wall, pushing sellers out, that is a squeeze setup. That right there, that one piece of information that I just shared with you could change your trading by itself. To understand the concept, which is an easy concept, that if you were to short with equity overnight and the next day it gapped up above your average, let's say you have a 128 average, that's where you're short, and it gaps up to 130. What are you going to do at the bell? In order to reduce your risk, you're probably going to sell, right? Or the bank's going to call and they're going to tell you, you got to get out or you got to pay us money. This is a fucking squeeze. That is how we identify whether or not something is actually going to rip that day. Like these big moves, let me show you. Hold on. Let me show you. Like this is, I can show you a perfect example of gapping up, especially given the fact that you gapped back up. So we went in after hours. So again, outside of trading hours, price fell to 117 and then gapped up above 119 to its old cost basis and squeezed sellers out. Had it gapped up all the way to 127 or above that, even further, right? So but yeah, anyway, the new workshop is, and if you guys are looking at it on your screen, not to call out Team Bull, but that style of trading turned me into such an angry, negative person. Look at him. Look at him. He's a bad. I don't give a shit. You guys know that. I came on this app to speak my mind for sure, and that guy is a bad guy. He's a bad guy. I wouldn't trust him with my kids for sure. I wouldn't even want to be around somebody like that. That is a bad person. A person who chooses to enrich themselves on a platform that they know has extremely slim chances of any sort of reward. You know it doesn't work out. You know you've already been sued by people. I've never been sued by somebody else, right? For something that I caused, like in their trading. Most people, they get it. They either need to work harder, but the system is in place, and when they abide by the system, it works. But they do. You're right. They do prey on the need for guidance. And that being a person that, this is what my therapist says, that my strong sense of justice is because of that reason alone, right? Parents did not do their job, and then adults, I'm vulnerable, right? I don't have understanding. And that sense of justice is like, I mean, I'm sure other people have that for different reasons, but I personally just can't watch. I wouldn't whip my phone out and watch somebody get robbed. I think that's whack. So, I mean, it's not like I've changed the tone. I've pretty much stayed with the same vibe here. I have a question. Sometimes you are looking at to the left for a green candle. Is that resistance? I have a question. Sometimes you are looking to the left for a green candle. Is that No. Great question. Great question. So I'm going to answer this, and this is actually going to help everybody in here who is listening find targets. I'm giving away free money right now. Okay. So when you are looking for targets to the upside through empty space, my first and typical always instinct is to look for the first green candle to my left. Is the first green candle to my left, and that represents the floor. So if I was looking at BABA, it would be 152, right? Let's look for another example here. For targets above, right? Or yeah, above. So let's look. Okay, so same thing here on the 24-hour. If we get a punchback through this box, then we would be looking at a first target of 104. That right there, I'm not withholding any information from you, that right there is my targeting system. The first green candle to your left through empty space is going to be your target. 24-hour time frame. Write that down. Record. Honestly, you guys could be screen recording right now, although this is going to be on YouTube. But how much does your workshop or mentorship cost? My workshop is $850. Comes with 6 months in the Discord. I do not offer mentorship. Yeah, I had somebody last month offer me $5,000 to mentor them for a month. I'm not doing it. One, because I truly don't think that you need it. I really think that if you just ask more questions, if you are inside of my Discord, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself and just ask me. Most of you guys are too nervous, but you need to have a little bit of sense of not giving a fuck. Because as long as I'm not talking or something is happening that's important, please unmute yourself and get that question off. You paid money to be inside of my Discord. You should get the value you deserve. Ask me a question. I like talking about this shit, clearly. The YouTube channel is also great. Yeah, YouTube, for sure. The morning open often returns to where the chart closed at 4 p.m. and it kills my swing. What are you usually swinging, Amalia? Amelia? Is it? Hold on. Mila? Help me out here. I'm overpronouncing it because I think it's probably doesn't sound like how it's spelled. Are you giving extra time for taking the quizzes? Extra time? Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes, Rich. 100%, dude. Yeah. Rich, also, dude, DM me again. If I saw your DM earlier. And let's chat. Okay. I want to help you out. I think that's an easy hurdle for you to get over, even if that's something that we have to discuss on live. We can get you over that hurdle, dude, for sure. Also, Windwalker. Are you Native American? Just curious. I think that's super cool. I was just asking. Amila. Amila. You are? Hell yeah. Okay, cool. Because if you weren't, that would have been weird. That's awesome, dude. I took puts for Tuesday today and 2 hours from 200 green. I took puts for Tesla today, and after 2 hours from I had $100 explain theta. Okay, hold on. I gotta reread that again. I think I had a stroke. I took puts for Tesla today, and after 2 hours from $200 green, I had. I might need to bring you up for that one, dude. Hold on. I'm like rereading it, and it's hurting even more. Just took puts for Tesla today, and after 2 hours from 200 green, I had negative 100. Explain theta again. Sorry, I'm just trying to like. It's not your fault. I'm just well, maybe a little bit with the. I just can't read that. Maybe a little bit. Sorry. Question: I've had much success trading SPX, but I have noticed that I tend to exit early. Okay, so yeah, we need to find you a better way to pick targets. It's that simple, my friend. You just need a better way to pick targets. Now, I will say one of my issues with SPX is no matter what you do, you don't get to see extended hours, right? Because it doesn't have extended hours. So my typical go-to is to keep both SPY, which I have the edge of seeing more data, because again, if you're new here, I use the 24-hour chart. If anybody is curious or has any questions on that, I use the 24-hour chart. If you don't know why I do that, and you're somebody who can't do something unless you know why, you feel free to ask, because I use the 24-hour chart with extended hours only. No daily charts ever. But anyway, so for you, you're going to need to targets, right? Picking better targets. So if you're exiting too early, now I don't know if you're using my system Arasto, but if you're exiting too early, either A, you're watching your P&L, and if you're staring at your P&L, you need to ask yourself, what does your contract and its value have anything to do with the chart that you're trading? The contract that you buy is a byproduct, right? And the only way that you found that to be a good play is by identifying it on that 24-hour chart, not on the options, right? You didn't just pick the option and decide it then. You looked at the chart. So the chart tells you when to get in and it tells you when to get out. So stop looking at your P&L. I would assume that's probably a lot of you guys have an issue with that. Stop staring at your P&L. Your brokerage is to take profit and to enter, not to stare at and gawk. You brokerage creep. Is it okay to post a chart with a question on the free Discord? Yeah, that's what it's for. How does one enable the 24-hour chart? So you have to have it, make sure that you have the, yeah, I'm going to take a second. And I guess just for this video and for anybody in here who's new, I'm going to explain really quickly why, and I'm going to show you why. And I'm going to do this really quickly because everybody in here, poor souls, has already been through this probably 10,000 times. So I'm gonna really quickly go through why I use the 24-hour chart versus the daily chart. Okay. So first of all, if you are looking to add this as a time interval, you're going to go to the top bar, which already has numbers. Hold on. Can we see that on TikTok? Yes, we can. Okay. So we're going to go to those top bars up here, or top time frames, and you're going to see a little down arrow. You're going to hit that arrow, and you're going to hit the top right there. It says add custom interval. You're going to add hours, 24, and add. Okay. Now, why? And if there is anything that I do, you can ask me why. okay? Because I can tell you why. And if you can't get that from anybody else, keep it pushing. There's people out there who do, like TTI and Put Brothers. Obviously, I'm sure there's maybe a couple more, probably not, but maybe. That's where you can, again, ask questions. You should get answers. Okay, so I want everybody to take a look at this. And while I do this, you can see me building a box and defining some of the points of contact or taps like this and this and that to define my floor, as well as the candle closes over the top to define my ceiling. That's a perfect box. I see a wick right here. That's retesting the floor, right? I have a box down below me, and we're going to stick with the candle closes, right here on the floor. So I've got, again, the 50% mark of every box was is cost basis, which is a area where we get a signal for continuation of the downside or continuation of the upside. So does everybody see this? Hold on, bro. Don't give too much sauce. I just bought the workshop. That's exclusive information. Listen, dude, I could spill sauce out the top of this pot all over the place, bro, and there's still a juicy, succulent meal inside, dude. I mean, one piece of information is useful, but having this all together in one strategy, I mean, just look at what these people are posting in here. Look at the gains, look at the testimonials. I have people that are posting stories of some shit I've never, I mean, read that if you guys have is that in the, yeah, read that testimonial if you can read at the top. The words aren't incredibly tiny. So anyway, back to what I was saying. All right, everybody on TikTok, can I get a thumbs up emoji? Does everybody, when I give this example, I want you guys to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if this makes sense to you. All right. So this is extended hours, 24-hour chart. Everything's clean. We've got nice boxes. I'm going to take it away. All right. So everybody watch as I take this away. All of this kindergarten charting, easy boxes, take it away. It's unfucking recognizable. Where do I find anything in that? Do you want to know one of my biggest conspiracy theories? That since electronic charting has been a thing, they have found a way to take advantage of everybody. And how many retail traders just act as liquidity? I think this might be one of the biggest reasons why. Nobody is seeing the same chart that we are. Am I on Discord? Yes. I have a Discord, but I want to just I always emphasize, if you are watching me right now, I am not here to give you signals. You will never get anywhere in life by following somebody else's signals, and you probably have never met anybody in your life who has made it making or with signals. But I do create and teach independent traders. So if you are interested in being an independent trader and you're ready to put in that work and be a part of a community that is focused on one strategy, that is what my group is for. And I am successful in creating independent traders. We have hundreds. So, oh, you're right, OC. That's right. Please explain what happened when you zoomed out from the boxes. So I didn't. Okay, so do you here? Let's. When I click it, it takes me back over to the most recent price action. But what you're seeing, okay? So let's do it again. Go back. All right. Do you guys see how clean this looks? Right? It literally looks like a perfect box. All the candles without the wicks, focusing on the bodies. This is very well contained. Does everybody see that? You see how clean that is, right? Easily identifiable. I can identify that this is, I mean, this is by far, this is a perfect picture of my strategy. This is a perfect picture of my strategy, because I am looking for a push through the 50% mark of an area of consolidation to disrupt the volume that is centralized in the middle of that consolidation. That is something that I found out by using volume profile. I used volume profile until I found out every box and range has a 50% mark where the majority of the volume is concentrated, because that is where the exchanging of hands is done. You could even say that is where the most money is generated. So when that area is disturbed and busted, that disrupts the volume, drives the sellers who were pushing this down and had all of their volume sitting at that 50% mark. And when sellers get out of their trade, stocks go up, because when you're a seller, you're covering. Covering is buying stock back, right? So let's do it again. Perfect box, empty space. All right, you see it, right? So let's do this. There. The cord. Yeah, that's a good one. There you go. It's a different market. Let's look at SPY. Yes, Lord. So let's look at SPY, right? I can go to the 4 hour, and I can pretty much pull as much information as needed, sitting at cost basis, all that good shit, right? Now, or whoops, I'm sorry. Right here, that is adding extended hours. Look at the 24-hour time frame, same thing, right? My candles are closing on identifiable marks. The 4 hour, clear. You take that away, unclear, right? Or it's taking away data that is useful when you are whether you are day trading or scalping or swing trading. All of the information is relevant. Now let me ask you guys this question, and we'll leave this alone because I'm done talking about it. But who made it a rule that only the trading hours of 9:30 to 4 is the only volume that matters, right? I'm switching off regular hours and extended hours, right? I don't know if you just saw how much data is added to that, but it does. Now, sometimes you might find that the regular hours looks pretty good, and you're probably dealing with a stock that doesn't have a ton of institutional movement after hours, and that will happen. But as a general rule of thumb, I have not looked at a daily chart in years. So I'll end it with this. If you have ever heard anybody say smart money comes in after hours or in pre-market, right? Why are we leaving that out? Why would we leave the biggest and the smartest money off of our chart? So, Rookie Rodriguez, watch this video back when I posted it on YouTube, and I answered that question. I answered that question earlier. So, I don't know if Ivy extended the last. Oh shit. Yeah, Ivy posted a 30% discount. I didn't tell her to do that. Ivy, are you on here? Oh, did you leave that up? Jesus Christ, dude. Do Wall Street insiders know about me? No, I like it that way. See, I could sit here and yap my fucking gums as much as I want, but because I have so I've had interviews with the New York Times, I've had interviews with Netflix for a documentary they were doing. I've refused all of those. I've also had Benzinga. I've had a large handful of different stock market websites reach out to me for them to promote their shit. This was especially years ago. Now, not so much. It's pretty quiet. I'm not super nice to people or things or businesses that I know are openly trying to take advantage of or distribute bullshit information. I started working with Benzinga And I quickly realized I just caught a fly in my hand. How the fuck? That was pretty fucking cool. Anyway, caught a fly in my hand. Gonna wash my hands here in a second. But I'm sorry, I distracted the shit out of myself. I have ADHD. Wow. What am I supposed to do? But that was crazy. I'm trying to remember what I was just talking about though. I did not eat the fly. I just wiped it. I was wiping something off my nose. No, I just threw the fly in a paper bag that I have sitting on my desk. Shut the fuck up. You're gross. Oh really? Oh really? Oh, just kidding. I didn't eat it. Oh my god. Oh, Benzinga. That's wild. All this money, and I'm eating flies, dude. I'm really into the organic shit, you know what I'm saying? Gotta get my chakras straight. Hold on one second. Inactivity? How is that possible? Bro has a fly zin. That's mad funny. Speaking of zins, we're going with these 15 milli manillis. Trying the new Grizzly. Oh, actually, I found these yesterday, so it's not like this isn't a mukbang for zins. I'd order smart gum. Yeah, do that. I like that stuff a lot. But if you do have a high caffeine tolerance, make sure that you eat more than one at once. Anyway, so I worked with Benzinga. Benzinga started pushing information that I knew was just to pump stocks. That's what it, and we're back. We're back, by the way. ADHD's over. Thank you for coming with me on that side journey. We're back. But Benzinga was pushing stuff or news that was just meant to pump stocks, and they get paid to do that. And I said, in the email, they had reached out to me, and I told them straight up, fuck off. I told them I knew what I was talking about. I said, you guys have. I posted 6 articles that they had posted in the last 24 hours that were bullshit. Bullshit. Like trying to get liquidity. It's wild. So anyway, all that being said, I think that is why my presence here online, that and I don't have any friends besides TTI and the Put Brothers that are in the trading space. I mean, well, I have Jay Dan. I mean, like people who are in the stock market. I don't have like a ton of friends. And I didn't come here to make friends at all. You know what I mean? And this, not only that, having morals in the stock market means you kind of have to be a dick. When it comes to certain things, you got to be able to say no, because the stock market is probably one of the most immoral places you could walk. The people that are within this area, dude, would eat your skin off your back if it meant they would fucking make $1. Like, what do I think of Unusual Whales? I'm just kidding. Not that bad, but I don't fuck with them. So I don't want to, like how you ate that fly. Get him the fuck out of here. Get him out of here. Where's my mods at? Actually, execute him. Get it over with. You're out of here, buddy. I'm calling ice on you or something. Unless you're not white, then I'm not. Can't do that. What do I think of Usual Whales? I like Usual Whales. I fuck with them hard. How rich do you have to be to enjoy flybys like it's Eskimo? Fuck you too, bro. Yo. Hey bro, can you draw the box again and count the times price tapped on each side of the box? Are you saying like kind of show you that? Like as a example? Like find boxes? Yeah, I got you, man. Here, let's find some boxes right now. Yeah, we could do that again. So right there, look, candles closing, wick. So let's like really, let's look at, I know you guys probably need help with this. So so technically you're just playing order blocks. So again, different names for the different names for the same thing, right? How we use that order block is going to be different, right? I use order blocks right? Now, again, how some people put their order blocks together and how I do that, completely different, right? But my method, right, is within 3 waves. So in this example, and if you can count to 3, you can take advantage of my strategy. Head and shoulders forming, I will jump straight out the window in front of me if I hear that again, dude. I swear to God. It's only a 1 story, so it's not that bad, but I will. I'll do it. Don't do it again. Head and shoulders. All right, Isaac. I'm just joking with you, but I'm going to show you something here in a second. Kind of open an eye. All right. So really quickly, if you can count to 3, you can make money. Okay. One of the most useful things that you can do while something is creating a box or you're charting a box is count to 3. 1, 1. I did that backwards. 1, 1. Right. 2, 2. Okay. Now I want you guys to take this information with you. Now, the probability of that breaking has increased by double. Now, what would cause something to go past 3 waves? A lack of volatility. So that means, do I avoid biopharmaceuticals? Yes. Some people would call that a double bottom, right? But what does a double bottom tell you, right? Or where do you take the double bottom? Or where is the entry off the double bottom? Also, double bottoms can reject their tops. I think we got that one. That was actually a triple bottom, but you could argue that's a triple top now. So really quickly, let me take a second since we're talking about chart patterns. For those of you guys in here, I also do. So let me tell you guys a list of things I don't use. I don't use flow. I don't use news. I don't use chart patterns. I don't use anybody else's strategy. I don't use indicators. I don't use news. I don't use dark pool. I don't use. That's about it. But I don't use those things, right? Let me show you a couple of examples of head and shoulders that would have ruined your life. Okay. And I remember this moment. I was here. I remember the moment that everybody wanted to short NVIDIA, right? And let's see, we had, so here's another great example of it. So this is by definition, and I'm going to get to the second part of this, right? Because there's a website called chartpatterns.com where a man went and back tested all of these patterns and posted their statistics versus the S&P. And the head and shoulders had one of the worst. Okay. Inverse head and shoulders, one of the best. Because buying happens more often than selling does. But with that being said, shoulder, head, shoulder, neckline, okay? Now, let me tell you a story, because one of the things I do in my Discord is I also teach people how to kind of narrate, because narration can really, really help. Because yes, this is a cat and mouse game, right? Where they're trying to egg people into doing dumb shit so they can take your fucking money. So let's talk about this, because this is almost comedy. This is funny and sad at the same time. It's a tragedy. You've got a head and shoulders that's been developing since July of 2023 all the way till October of 2023. So it's taken a long time. You get to the fucking neckline, right? Now, for me, I'm not paying attention to this, but like in the moment, watch this. Candle 1 at the floor, wick down, pull back up, stretch them out, right? You wick up to 42.25, you push down, but you hold the floor. Next day, give them a little taste. Give them a little taste. Pull that fucker back up. Stretch them out again. Right? You're getting people out, but you're also accumulating more volume. You're accumulating more people who are trying to go short. And what happens when you fool a fuck ton of people into shorting this stock? Let me show you. It's called a short squeeze. That right there would have told you already. Now you imply or you use my strategy. This isn't a mystery. This is no longer at all whatsoever a mystery of any kind. It's a box. And my strategy says that when a candle closes under the top of the box, that more than likely you are going to fall. And that would give you cost basis, which is 38.20 or 38.72, which would have given you a trade down to the imbalance or the 50% mark of that empty space, which was 34.50. Yeah, if you shorted on that insane support, but that's what, okay, well, like, hold on. That is what that's supposed to do. You're supposed to, when you're trading a head and shoulders, short the neckline. So the neckline gets wicked 4 days in a row. And the next week is pure rippage. Does that make sense to everybody? How they just fooled? I could show you more examples of this. I think, if I'm not mistaken, AMD's done this too as well. This was years ago. Yeah. This did. Look, another one. Shoulder, head, shoulder, destruction, rip. So here's what I'm saying. If you want to use patterns, you better have a better system underneath it. I think I'm finally getting it after all of this time. Heath, I want you to DM me right now on Discord. And I want you to talk to me for the next 2 weeks about what your trading conditions are like. Yeah, fill me in. Talk to me a little bit. Because right now that you're catching your stride, it's going to be really useful for you to talk to me. If you can. You don't have to, what do you mean shit? I don't want that. Spy 650. All right. How long is this recording here? That's okay, man. If you don't want to, okay. So something we're going to be doing in the Discord, especially those of you guys who are planning on joining, I'm going to be holding like a kindergarten meet, basically. And what my goal is to pair people up with other members to create an accountability system. Was I trading in 2020? Yeah, I was. Trading it. Yeah, I know you've been. Yeah, I know who you are for sure. I know. I remember your DMs about not having gotten it and stuff like that. But anyway, inside of the Discord, I'm gonna collect volunteers, and if they are willing to partner up with people, we're gonna have an accountability system inside of the Discord. Because one thing that having a platform like this, or even just saying out loud what I'm going to do, there's a level of accountability that comes with it when you're saying it to somebody else. So if you're working together with somebody else, and shoulders is sing along as long as the word as it's the worst indicator, and inverse can lead us the whole. Yeah, you could look at it that way, but you still have to use some sort of system of entry. But yeah. Yeah, I like that idea too. And for those of you guys who haven't, again, I do have a lot of free information on my YouTube. I'm going to upload this video. This will be in here. So this is, going to be in the educational channel. But, if some of you guys, the workshop is basically all of the stuff that I'm talking about right now consolidated into one workshop. It does have AI testing and all that other shit that comes with it, as well as note taking and stuff like that. So, as well as 6 months in the Discord. So it's a great place to start. But yeah, this is the educational playlist. I hate this fucking intro video. But yeah, you can scroll through here. This is a video on how to set up your trading view. It's a Potterbox introduction, 2 setups to change your trading forever. Option trading Q&A. We shorted the Qs on 9/3/2024 last year. That one turned out really well, so I recorded that one. So all of these are thoughts on repeating the .com bubble. It'll be something else, not .com. Well, here's the difference between the .com bubble. Was the excitement, like, if anything, that bubble could be isolated to the semiconductors. Potter, does Alex use the Potter box on crypto? Yes. My system works anywhere. If you have a stop loss and options and swing overnight, you technically won't stop out until New York Open. That is true, yes. So what we do when we take entries on things that are unconfirmed, if it is confirmed, I'm just going to take my trade. And I take a trade, and all of my trades, we are low risk, right? So I am taking contracts that cost $10 to $15 to $20, typically max, and then I am swinging them overnight. So the position itself is typically always low risk, but high reward. So if my target gets hit, I win, and period. Even if I head in the right direction, typically I'm winning. And that is, again, why when you look at my Discord, you hardly even see 100. You actually, to see somebody post 100% gain is really odd. No, okay, so my workshop is pre-recorded. So if you are in, if you're interested in getting the workshop, which again, you can, I feel free to talk to anybody who's taken it. You can, I'm not one of those people who keeps people from messaging other members. I actually want you to. But if you look right here, folks, this is the workshop right over here. So right there, all of those blue folders that you see on that Discord, that's all of the lessons. And each one of those, some of those contain more than one video. Here you have 2 videos, and then you have, so this is actually really, really cool. Real shit, this is a very A+ live lesson. Just subscribe to the YouTube. Thank you for subscribing. Hell yeah. Bro, haven't seen you in a year. Anything life-changing? Honestly, Simi, this year has been the best trading year of my career. I've also had more people become independent traders than any other year. But yeah, this is... No, that's not Amy's Discord. So this is actually really cool. Let me show you. Links in the bio for the Discord. The website has the Discord. Okay, so really quickly, let me show you guys this, and then I think we'll get out of here. Call it a week. I'll see you guys on Monday. So right here, and this is a part of it. Trading and foundations, and this takes notes for you. So this is the beginning one. You can go back over to the workshop over here, and then like if you go to, let's say, top-down analysis, and we click on that one. So check this out. This is actually the fucking coolest shit I've ever, I mean, this website is really cool. So right here, when chop happens and top-down analysis. So one thing that we don't do is we don't trade during chop. We typically don't trade when the candles open up inside of themselves. This lesson was on that and doing top-down analysis. So when chop happens, avoid consolidation areas, identify boundaries, and stay away. When trading out of consolidation, the trade is done once empty space is completely filled. Greed can lead to trying to extend a trade beyond its logical conclusion. These are all notes that we're taking with AI. So if you like that, you can also go over here, right? And you can, is it the assessment? Let me see. Oh, I can't click on the so this has a test taking app as well. So I can actually see people's test scores, but you can go through and you can take test right here. You got 100, 100, 86, 86. So you can actually go and take a test on the information that's provided. So if you don't feel like you got it the first time, take the test, ask me questions, go back, do it again, you'll get it. this is why I think this year has been, I put everything I got into this workshop because I wanted it all. Oh, I'm not. Oh no, don't show my card. But I want it all then. I got to update the debit card. If Ivy's here, Ivy, if you're, or Alex, if you're watching that back, if you guys could update my new card on there when you get a chance. Was that Astro? Oh God. How do you access this? Through my website, the Potterbox Workshop. So, and then, again, if you want to take some time, you can go through the website or go through the testimonials. Those are all placed. Oh shit. Yeah. Placed quite often. Yeah, this is a funded futures account. So those of you guys who are trading futures, as you can see right here, this individual is doing really well on his futures funded account. 70%. Yeah, I've had some life-changing shit happening here. Look at that. Your lifetime members get access to your lifetime and yearly. If you're somebody who just wants to pay and be done, that is lifetime is what that is, and that gives you access to our Discord. Which my Discord, you got to go to simplestacksinvestments.com if you can't, if the link in the bio doesn't work. So if you get lifetime or yearly, you also get access to our Discord. Now, let me explain really quickly because I don't want people in here jumping to the conclusion that that's what they need to buy. The workshop is the most important aspect of this period. But the Discord itself is filled with people like yourself, all looking to accomplish the same thing using the same strategy. So we have in turn become one of the biggest scanners for solid setups. And that is what my Discord is capable of doing and has been doing, and why I'm able to leave my Discord and they're still able, if you guys are new in here, they're still able to post these kinds of gates, which again, I want to remind everybody, I was not here for that. I wasn't here. Let's see. Yeah, right here. This is right when I got back. Look at this. That's without me. So if your guru isn't getting those type of percentages, then that's where we kind of outshine. But anyway, all right, guys. I will be doing another Q&A for the Potterbox Workshop next week, especially for all of you new folks. But we'll spark this back up on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, shoot me a DM. Ivy did put up 30% discount. She hasn't texted me back, but I guess, she runs that. So I would ask her, but that 30% discount on lifetime and yearly might be still up. I don't know. I would ask her or use that. But otherwise, guys, thanks for watching. Go to my YouTube. That information is free. So if you don't want to pay anybody any money at all, go there and be in these lives. But other than that, guys, I'm going to go discount these. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy my weekend as well. Go hang out with the kids. But you guys have a wonderful one. And I'll see you guys on Monday.